Bruno Mars has done it again. And this time, the numbers are impossible to ignore. 5 nominations, one of the biggest names in modern music, and a place among the most nominated artists at the 2026 MTV Video Music Awards. Bruno Mars is officially heading into this year's VMAs with 5 nominations, making him the most nominated male artist of the ceremony and placing him in a tie for 5th overall among all artists. Only Madonna, Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, and Sabrina Carpenter are ahead of him by total nomination count. And if you thought Bruno Mars had already reached the highest point of his career, this new recognition suggests something very different. Because these nominations are not simply about one song. They represent different sides of Bruno Mars as an artist. Performance, songwriting, visual storytelling, direction, editing, and the ability to remain culturally relevant in an industry that changes faster than almost anything else in entertainment. So before we go any further, if you are a Bruno Mars fan, make sure you hit like, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments which 2026 VMA category you think Bruno has the strongest chance of winning. Because there is one part of this story that makes these 5 nominations even more interesting. The 2026 MTV VMAs are not arriving during an ordinary moment in Bruno Mars' career. They are arriving at a time when the superstar has once again placed himself directly in the center of global pop culture. And that is what makes this nomination list worth watching. Bruno Mars is nominated for Video of the Year, Artist of the Year, Best R&B, Best Direction, and Best Editing. 5 categories. 5 different opportunities to demonstrate why his name continues to carry enormous weight at one of music television's most recognizable award shows. And look at the first 2 categories. Video of the Year, Artist of the Year. Those are not minor categories. They are 2 of the biggest statements an artist can receive at the VMAs. Video of the Year recognizes the visual work that defined the year. Artist of the Year recognizes the performer whose overall presence, impact, and success helped shape the music conversation. And Bruno Mars is competing at the very top. The 2026 Video of the Year field includes Bruno Mars alongside major names such as Madonna, Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, Sabrina Carpenter, and Jenner 8ion featuring Young Lean. That alone tells you how competitive this year's ceremony is going to be. But Bruno's story becomes even more interesting when you move beyond the headline categories, because his 5 nominations also reach into the technical side of music videos. Best Direction, Best Editing, and Best R&B. That combination matters. Why? Because it means Bruno is not being recognized from only one perspective. He is being recognized as a performer, but also as part of the creative machinery behind the visual experience. And that has always been an important part of Bruno Mars' identity. For years, Bruno has been associated with polished performances, carefully constructed music videos, retro-inspired aesthetics, choreography, live musicianship, fashion, and an ability to blend different generations of music into one recognizable style. That formula has helped him remain one of the most recognizable entertainers of his generation. But the VMAs are different from a normal streaming chart. A streaming platform measures consumption. A radio chart measures airplay. A social media platform measures conversation. The VMAs measure something else. They turn music into a visual competition. And that is exactly where Bruno Mars has historically been extremely comfortable. Think about his history with the Video Music Awards. Bruno has previously received nominations for major categories including Video of the Year, Artist of the Year, Best Direction, Best Editing, and Best R&B. His VMA history includes major recognition for projects such as 24K Magic, Finesse, Leave the Door Open, Die with a Smile, and APT. And there is a particularly important connection here. Bruno has already won Best R&B and Best Editing at the VMAs with Silk Sonic 4, Leave the Door Open. So when those 2 categories appear again on his 2026 nomination list, they are not unfamiliar territory. They are categories where Bruno has already demonstrated that his visual work can compete and win. that makes the 2026 nominations feel less like a random collection of mentions and more like another chapter in an established VMA story. Now, pause for a second, because this is where the bigger picture begins to emerge. 5 nominations does not automatically mean 5 wins, and it would be misleading to suggest that Bruno is guaranteed to take home every trophy. He is facing extremely strong competition. Madonna leads the entire 2026 nomination field with 11 nominations, while Taylor Swift follows with 9. Ariana Grande and Sabrina Carpenter each have 7, while Bruno Mars, Pink Pantheress, and Zara Larsson each have 5. So technically, Bruno is tied for 5th overall. But among male artists, he stands alone at the top of the nomination count. That distinction is important, because the 2026 VMAs are filled with major stars, but Bruno is still the highest nominated male artist of the ceremony. And that says something about the consistency of his presence. It is easy to dominate one year. It is much harder to remain part of the biggest conversations year after year. That is where Bruno Mars has been unusually successful. He has moved through different eras without losing the identity that made audiences recognize him in the first place. He can perform classic soul. He can deliver R&B. He can embrace pop. He can step into funk. He can work with hip-hop and rap artists. He can collaborate with global superstars. And somehow, the Bruno Mars identity remains intact. That versatility is one reason his name continues to appear in major award conversations. And now, with 5 VMA nominations in 2026, the conversation is shifting once again. Zoom in on Best R&B. This category speaks directly to one of the musical foundations of Bruno's career. R&B has always been part of his artistic DNA. His vocal phrasing, harmonies, rhythm, stage presence, and production choices frequently draw from the genre. And throughout his career, Bruno has repeatedly demonstrated that he can move between contemporary pop success and classic R&B influences without making either side feel artificial. That balance is difficult. Many artists can make a pop hit. Many artists can make an R&B record. But creating music that can live comfortably in both worlds is a different challenge. And Bruno has spent much of his career doing exactly that. Now move to Best Direction. This is where the nomination becomes especially interesting. Direction is not simply about standing in front of a camera and performing. It is about deciding what the audience sees. It is about framing, movement, lighting, transitions, visual rhythm, performance blocking, storytelling, and the relationship between music and image. When an artist receives recognition in a directing category, the conversation moves beyond the song itself. The question becomes, what did the artist and creative team build visually? What did they make the audience feel? What decisions made the video memorable? And in Bruno Mars' case, visual identity has always been a major part of the brand. His videos are often designed around strong concepts, recognizable choreography, carefully selected styling, and a sense of performance that feels cinematic without losing the energy of a live show. That is why Best Direction fits naturally into the larger story. Then comes Best Editing. And this is another category where Bruno has already experienced VMA success. Editing is often invisible when it is done correctly. The viewer does not stop to think about every cut. They simply feel the rhythm. A beat hits. The camera changes. A movement continues. The scene shifts. The music intensifies. And the edit keeps everything moving. That relationship between music and editing is particularly important in Bruno Mars' style because his performances often rely on rhythm. The music has to feel alive visually. The cuts have to support the groove. The choreography has to feel connected to the camera. And the final product needs to look effortless even when an enormous amount of work happened behind the scenes. That is the hidden power of a strong music video. The audience sees 3 or 4 minutes. The creative team may have spent days, weeks, or months constructing every detail. And the VMAs are one of the places where that work receives recognition. Now here comes the question many Bruno Mars fans will be asking. Can 5 nominations become 5 wins? Realistically, that is an enormous challenge. The competition is stacked. The 2026 VMAs feature some of the biggest names in global music, and several categories contain artists who have already dominated award shows, streaming platforms, charts, and social media conversations. Madonna enters the ceremony with 11 nominations. Taylor Swift has 9. Ariana Grande and Sabrina Carpenter each have 7. And Bruno Mars enters with 5. So the pressure is enormous. But pressure is exactly what makes the ceremony interesting, because the VMAs have never been predictable. The awards are about more than numbers. They are about cultural impact. They are about the visual moments people remember. They are about performances that become headlines. And they are about artists who can create a moment that feels bigger than the trophy itself. That is where Bruno Mars becomes particularly dangerous as a contender. Because Bruno understands the concept of the moment. He understands staging. He understands timing. He understands nostalgia. And most importantly, he understands entertainment. Whether he is standing behind a microphone with a band, performing choreography with a full production, collaborating with another superstar, or appearing in a highly stylized music video, Bruno has repeatedly shown that he knows how to make audiences watch. And in an award show built around music videos and spectacle, that ability matters. There is also another layer to this story. Bruno Mars is not simply a nostalgic act returning to the spotlight. He is part of the current music conversation. That distinction is critical. Some legacy artists are celebrated because of what they accomplished decades ago. Bruno is being recognized because his name remains connected to current releases, current performances, current collaborations, and current audience interest. His nomination for Artist of the Year is therefore particularly significant. That category places him directly alongside some of the most powerful names in contemporary pop. Madonna, Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, Sabrina Carpenter, Morgan Wallen, and Bruno Mars. That is an extraordinary lineup. And it tells us just how competitive the 2026 MTV VMAs are expected to be. But there is something else fans should keep an eye on. The ceremony is scheduled for September 27, 2026, live from Los Angeles, with CBS, MTV, and Paramount Plus carrying the event in the United States. Fan voting is open in 13 categories through September 25th, while Best New Artist voting continues into the live show. That means the story is not finished. The nominations have been announced. The competition is known, but the winners have not yet been decided. And that is where the tension begins. Imagine the night. The cameras turn toward the stage. The nominees appear on screen. The crowd reacts. One category after another. Best R&B. Best Editing. Best Direction. Then the major categories. Artist of the Year. Video of the Year. And suddenly, Bruno Mars' name appears. The room erupts. Or perhaps another artist takes the trophy. That uncertainty is exactly what makes awards season so compelling. 5 nominations create 5 opportunities. But they also create 5 moments where Bruno's latest era will be measured against the strongest competition in music. And whether he wins 1 trophy, 2, 3, or even more, the nomination count itself is already a significant statement. Because Bruno Mars has once again placed himself among the most recognized artists at one of the most visible music award shows in the world. And there is a fascinating historical detail hiding underneath all of this. Bruno is no stranger to VMA recognition. His career has repeatedly intersected with the ceremony through nominations and wins. From Locked Out of Heaven and Uptown Funk to 24K Magic, Finesse, Silk Sonic's Leave the Door Open, and more recent collaborations. The VMA stage has followed Bruno through multiple phases of his career. That means the 2026 nominations are not an isolated achievement. They are part of a much longer trajectory. An artist who entered the industry with a vintage sensibility eventually became one of the biggest pop stars on the planet. An artist who could have been defined by one sound instead built a career across multiple genres. and an artist known primarily for performing eventually became increasingly involved in the visual and creative identity surrounding his music. That evolution is important, because 5 nominations across major and technical categories suggest that the industry is not only looking at Bruno Mars as a singer, it is looking at the complete artistic package. The performer, the songwriter, the musician, the visual artist, the creative director, the entertainer. And that may be the biggest story of all. The 2026 MTV VMAs are not simply asking whether Bruno Mars can make another hit. They are asking whether his work can stand among the most ambitious visual projects of the year. And so far, the nominations say yes. Now think about the bigger competition. Madonna is chasing another piece of VMA history. Taylor Swift continues to build one of the most decorated award show legacies in modern music. Ariana Grande and Sabrina Carpenter arrive with 7 nominations each. Pink Pantheress and Zara Larsson also enter with 5. And Bruno Mars stands alongside them as one of the most nominated artists of the entire ceremony. This is not a quiet year for the VMAs. It is a collision of generations, a collision of genres, a collision of pop culture identities. And right in the middle of it sits Bruno Mars. That is why these 5 nominations deserve attention. Not because a nomination guarantees a victory. It does not. Not because Bruno is the overall leader. He is not. Madonna leads with 11. But because 5 nominations place Bruno among the highest recognized artists of the night and make him the top male nominee by count. And perhaps the most exciting question is not whether Bruno Mars will win every category. The real question is how many moments he can create before the night is over. Will he win Video of the Year? Will Artist of the Year go in his direction? Can Best R&B become another category where his musical identity stands out? Can Best Direction recognize the visual creativity behind his work? And could Best Editing once again become a category connected to a Bruno Mars VMA victory? Nobody knows yet. And that uncertainty is exactly what makes September 27th so important. Because award shows are ultimately about the moment when predictions disappear. The nominees become winners. The winners become headlines. And one envelope can completely change the conversation. For Bruno Mars, 5 nominations mean 5 chances to hear his name called. 5 chances to add another trophy to an already extraordinary career. 5 chances to turn a nomination announcement into another chapter in his VMA legacy. And even before the ceremony begins, one thing is already clear. Bruno Mars is still competing at the highest level. He is still being recognized alongside the biggest names in music. He is still capable of crossing genre boundaries. And he is still creating work strong enough to receive recognition not only for the music, but for the visual craft surrounding it. That is why the 2026 MTV VMAs could become another important chapter in the Bruno Mars story. The countdown has started. 5 nominations, one of the strongest male contenders, a tie for 5th overall among all nominees, and a ceremony packed with superstar competition. The trophies are still waiting. The winners have not been announced, but Bruno Mars has already secured his place in the conversation. And now the only question left is the one every fan will be asking when the lights go down and the cameras go live. How many awards will Bruno Mars take home? If you are Team Bruno, now is the time to make your prediction. 1 win? 2? 3? Or could Bruno Mars shock everyone and turn 5 nominations into a truly unforgettable VMA night? Whatever happens, September 27th is shaping up to be a night that Bruno Mars fans will not want to miss. And if history tells us anything, when Bruno Mars walks onto a major music stage, there is always a chance that something memorable is about to happen. The nominations are official. The competition is locked in. The countdown is underway. And Bruno Mars is once again standing among the biggest names in music. 5 nominations, 1 major night, and potentially another historic chapter in the career of Bruno Mars. Now, the world waits. And this is where the Bruno Mars story becomes even more fascinating. Because when an artist receives 5 nominations at an event as competitive as the MTV Video Music Awards, the numbers are only the beginning. The real story is what those nominations represent. Bruno Mars has spent more than a decade building a reputation around one simple principle. Every performance has to feel like an event. That philosophy has helped him survive changes in music trends, changes in technology, changes in the way audiences discover songs, and even changes in what it means to be a global pop star. Today, an artist is not judged only by the song. The audience sees the music video. They see the live performance. They see the choreography. They see the fashion. They see the interviews. They see the social media clips. They see the behind-the-scenes footage. And sometimes, a single 10-second performance can become more powerful than an entire promotional campaign. Bruno understands that environment. He has always understood how to turn music into a visual experience. That is why his 2026 VMA nominations are worth watching so closely. There is another reason this moment feels significant. Bruno Mars is competing in categories that cover both the front of the camera and the creative work behind it. Artist of the Year is about the star. Best Direction and Best Editing are about the construction of the visual world. Best R&B speaks to his musical identity. And Video of the Year brings everything together. Performance, music, visuals, direction, editing, impact. In other words, the 5 nominations create a portrait of Bruno Mars as a complete entertainer. And that is perhaps the biggest compliment an artist can receive. Because Bruno has never been only a vocalist. His career has always been built around performance. Watch one of his concerts and the difference becomes obvious. He is not simply standing in one position and singing through a set list. He moves. He interacts with the audience. He works with musicians. He uses choreography. He changes the energy of the room. And he understands when to slow everything down and when to turn the entire stage into a celebration. That ability to control energy is one of the reasons Bruno remains such a powerful live performer. And it also explains why his music videos can translate so naturally into award show categories. A great Bruno Mars video often feels like an extension of his stage personality. The camera becomes part of the performance. The editing becomes part of the rhythm. The styling becomes part of the story. And the song becomes the engine connecting everything together. That combination is difficult to reproduce. It is even more difficult to reproduce consistently. But consistency has been one of the defining characteristics of Bruno Mars' career. Think about how many musical eras have changed since Bruno first became a global superstar. Pop music has moved through countless trends. Streaming became dominant. TikTok changed how songs become viral. Short-form video transformed music discovery. Albums became more flexible. Collaborations became more global. And artists began competing for attention across dozens of platforms simultaneously. Yet Bruno Mars remains a recognizable name in all of it. That is not accidental. It comes from having an identity strong enough to survive changing trends. Bruno can borrow from the past without becoming trapped in the past. That is one of his biggest strengths. He can reference soul music, funk, R&B, pop, disco, rock, and classic showmanship while still creating something that feels modern. And when that philosophy is translated into a music video, the result can become much more than promotional material. It becomes part of the artist's identity. That is why Video of the Year is such an important nomination. It is not simply a question of whether the song is popular. It is about whether the visual presentation became one of the defining music videos of the year. And Bruno Mars now has an opportunity to compete for that recognition once again. But there is a bigger question. What happens if Bruno wins? Imagine the headlines. Bruno Mars wins Video of the Year. Bruno Mars takes Artist of the Year. Bruno Mars adds another VMA trophy to his collection. A single victory could generate millions of views across social media. A multiple win night could become one of the biggest Bruno Mars entertainment stories of the year. And if he wins a major category such as Video of the Year or Artist of the Year, the impact could go far beyond the ceremony itself. Fans would immediately begin sharing clips. Performance footage would circulate. Acceptance speeches would become viral moments. Photos would flood social media, and every major entertainment outlet would revisit the career that brought him to that stage. That is how modern award shows work. The ceremony lasts for hours, but the biggest moments can live online for weeks. One reaction shot can become a meme. One speech can become a headline. One performance can dominate YouTube. One trophy can create a completely new narrative around an artist. And Bruno Mars knows how to create moments that travel. That is one reason his VMA nomination story deserves so much attention. Now, there is another layer to the Best R&B nomination. Bruno's relationship with R&B is not simply about genre classification. It is about musical tradition. His influences reach across decades of American popular music. He has consistently demonstrated an appreciation for vocal harmony, groove, live instrumentation, classic songwriting structures, and the kind of stage performance associated with legendary entertainers. At the same time, Bruno has never presented those influences as museum pieces. He updates them. He modernizes them. He turns them into contemporary pop experiences. That balance has helped him reach audiences who may not necessarily listen to traditional R&B. A younger listener might discover Bruno through a viral performance. Another fan might know him from a massive radio hit. Another might connect with Silk Sonic. Another might remember Just the Way You Are. Another might know Uptown Funk. Another might have discovered him through a more recent collaboration. Different generations can enter the Bruno Mars catalog through completely different doors, but they all eventually recognize the same artist. That is rare. And it is part of the reason his Artist of the Year nomination carries so much weight. The category asks audiences to look beyond a single song. It asks them to consider the artist's broader presence. And Bruno Mars has one of the strongest identities in contemporary pop. His name is instantly recognizable. His voice is instantly recognizable. His performance style is instantly recognizable. Even his visual aesthetic can often be identified before the audience sees his name. That kind of branding is extremely powerful in the modern music industry. Now zoom in again. Best Direction. This category could become one of the most interesting battles of the night because visual direction has become increasingly important in the streaming era. A music video is no longer just something people watch once on television. It can live permanently online. Fans can replay it frame by frame. Creators can analyze it. Reaction channels can discuss it. Editors can study it. Social media users can turn individual moments into viral clips. Every visual decision can potentially become part of the public conversation. That means directing a major music video has become a high-pressure creative job. And when Bruno Mars receives recognition in that category, it signals that the visual side of his work is being taken seriously. The same applies to Best Editing. Editing determines how the viewer experiences time. A strong editor can make a performance feel faster. A slow sequence can make a moment feel emotional. Rapid cuts can create excitement. Long takes can create intimacy. And when the editing follows the rhythm of the music, the viewer may not even realize how carefully everything has been constructed. They simply feel the energy. That is the magic of great editing. And Bruno Mars' performance-driven music makes that relationship between sound and image particularly important. The music has rhythm. The choreography has rhythm. The camera has rhythm. The editing has rhythm. Everything needs to move together. When those elements align, the video becomes addictive to watch. And that is exactly the type of visual craftsmanship that can stand out at the VMAs. But there is still one thing that fans should remember. Nominations are recognition. They are not predictions. They are not guarantees. And they are not proof that Bruno will win every category. The 2026 VMAs have an exceptionally strong lineup. Madonna, Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, Sabrina Carpenter, Bruno Mars, Pink Pantheress, Zara